Welcome to episode 9 of the Early Booking Podcast. We appreciate your patience while we were away on hiatus for the international break and the FA Cup fixtures. Not joining us today are Trey and Graham. Trey's in Europe having it up, and Graham's in Cali doing some fun things. So we're very jealous, but we still have to hold down the fort while they're away. But they've missed some incredible matches these last 2 weeks. We have a lot on the agenda today, so we'll jump right into it. I think the first thing front of mind for all Premier League fans is Everton's impending doom, which we've been alluding to for months now. And I think we called it early. I know these pundits, we were talking about it early January before the Lampard appointment. These pundits, last few weeks, it's been a big topic, but I think, in my opinion, Burnley's put the nail in the coffin. The sinking ship is going down, and there's nothing more beautiful to see, but Forrest, I'm going to pass it to you first. I know that was a massive fixture for Burnley. Really what you needed to have a chance at staying up and closing that gap now. It's 1 point. What were your reactions and thoughts to the latest match?
I'm so happy that result happened. I mean, I loved, oh man, seeing like the fake ass Lampard get out of there finally. For sure, he's gone, and he's not a real manager. He's just a player, who, the old manager went to Real Madrid, a real manager, and now we got like just some player coach there, like Ben Olsen for DC United, joking around, and this is what they deserve, and it's glad to see all the offense that Burnley created that game. They had a lot of good chances and a lot of good goals. Everyone was really performing. It was like. And then, Everton got, 2 penalty goals. One was well-deserved. One was pretty iffy. So it wasn't even that bad of a defense of showing either.
I think both were soft, if I'm going to jump in. The first one, obviously there's contact on both. The second one, very soft.
The second one, I watched it. I didn't even see him touch the guy. Like, it barely hit him, and he did.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the second one was really.
And I'm surprised. Like, VAR is so inconsistent, but yeah, we'll talk about that.
We need to stop and take some scope of the situation. We are talking about Everton here, guys. A team usually in the top 10 of the Prem for the last 15 years. We have deemed them the most boring team in football, and they're finally giving us a storyline. Everton literally only held on to that game because of 2 penalty calls, which we're debating whether they're soft or not. That's the only reason they didn't get beat 3-0 by a Burnley side who is now going to overtake them on points. Everton's schedule is terrible. They're going out of the Prem. Frank Lampard is out of his depth. He has been since day one. He's not a managerial type, and I don't think he gets a job after this, and I think it's warranted. I think he's gone. I think they have to hold on to him now. They have to ride their ship. They can't afford a new manager at this point in the season. It's already guaranteed doom. So either he keeps them up by a miracle or it's over. And honestly, as a neutral, it's fun to see a team like this fall. You don't see it too often.
Yeah, if you look at their last 9 fixtures, they've got to face Man United, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester again. That must be like a rescheduled match. Yeah, and then like Arsenal, Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace and a Brentford who just 3-0'd Arsenal and 3-1 Chelsea. So these aren't easy teams either. Every team you mentioned is maybe an average of like 0.25 points going to Everton from them, maximum.
Yeah, Burnley's got such a nice fixture list. Like the only big team they've really got to face is Tottenham. That's it.
And Burnley's going to grind out. They dubbed them earlier in the year, but with Burnley, they're going to grind out at least 3-1-1-1-0-0s. So they're at least guaranteed 3 points, if not gonna fluke 1 or 2 of those. And Everton, they're lucky to grab a point to 3 points from those fixtures. But I think what you alluded to, Bryce, over $500 million spent in the last 3 to 4 years. They're in the top 6 spending of all Premier League teams. It's just been total mismanagement, and I think Duncan Ferguson would have been a better appointment. For the reason that we've seen him be an intern manager for them in the past. He has a lot of passion, and I think that's infectious. I think that's what Klopp has. He doesn't Klopp, of course, tactically is amazing, but we've talked about it before. Like, passion is everything when you're motivating these same players coming in as a new coach. And just when I see Lampard, I think his passion is misplaced. I think we've seen 3 or 4 red cards on their last 4 or 5 fixtures from Everton. And just to say, their one goal that was an open play was a deflection goal from a defender on a corner. So literally like a shithouse goal, total luck. So like, I mean, we'll see you. We'll see you maybe in a few years. I think Lampard. I'm curious if they keep him if they get relegated, and I think they will. To be honest, just to say like, look at us. We have this legend in as a coach in the championship, and they'll probably come right back up. I mean, honestly, like, some big names: Richarlison gone, Calvert-Lewin gone. But who else? There's a lot of bums on that team. Maybe Allen gone. But like, no one's gonna want Holgate.
I do want to
leave, surely.
I do want to throw a floaty out there to Frank Lampard and not throw all the absolute blame on him at the same time, because we have aforementioned in previous podcasts, Everton is a personality team. You mentioned a couple players just now, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, players you can mistake the way they play for passion for the club. Almost, you saw Richarlison's reaction after the penalties. It was almost like, finally, I'm scoring again. That's Richarlison's MO. That's every Everton's player's MO. They're not there trying to grind out results for the club of Everton. Their thought is, if I go down to the championship, what is this going to do for my damn career right now? And you have a manager who doesn't know what he's doing. Frank Lampard is out of his depth for sure. But you have a bunch of individualistic players who have no form of unity on the pitch, and it shows. And it's an absolute dumpster fire. From the neutral perspective, that was the third best game, maybe second best game of the week for me to watch. And it was because, A, it was a back and forth game, and B, you could just tell Everton weren't in the game once.
And what cracks me up is like Richarlison is still getting caps for Brazil. He's scoring in international breaks.
Right.
And he goes back home to the dumpster fire, like you said, for Everton. And I think it's something that you see, like, Maguire is a great version of someone who doesn't deserve that call-up, because they say, oh, it's all on merit. But there's this system with England, and I'm getting so sidetracked here, but it just pisses me off that...
on this when you're done.
Yes, please do, Harry. Please do. Like, England, people always say, oh, Maguire is so great in the England team. And we saw him get booed over the international break, which we weren't able to speak about. I think that was huge because we saw Joe Gomez get booed at the end of last year or a year ago. And
the Sterling incident, right?
Yeah, and there's no reaction there from media. But Maguire gets booed. Oh, defend our players. He's for the country. But the argument is that, oh, he's shit in a United shirt, but he's great in an England shirt. England play 5 in the back with 2 holding midfielders. Like, could you provide him with more cover? And also, you're not playing Trent. You're playing Reece James or Kyle Walker or someone like that at right back. When, like, of course he's going to look good in this basically 7 in the back that just hurts the attacking output. Like the Euro final, 120 minutes versus Italy, 1 shot on goal. Versus a team that didn't even qualify for the World Cup. Was drawing versus Northern Ireland, losing to Northern Macedonia. It's shocking, but I would love to hear your perspective, Harry, on this.
I don't know, Maguire's just a weird character in general. Like, he's been on my radar ever since he had that Greece incident where he tried to pay off the the police officer, and that got a lot of attention here. But I feel like that was blown under the rug a couple months later. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't even think he plays that well for England. I just think he has less opportunities to be shit than he does at Man United, where he's the center of attention at the back.
It's funny. We spoke on it last time, Parker. I think the last time we had a podcast, we talked about whether international breaks can bring players out of slumps or not.
Yeah.
And we all were for the take that it can get some players' confidence back. And I think for some players to like succeed so well at one level though, and to fail so hard at another, I think it almost is like a reckoning to some players that something is obviously wrong here. Like, the players at Everton clearly know, like, shit is not right here. Like, they probably are in the players. I don't know if they care as much, but the brass, whatever, they have to be in this absolute panic mode due to the circumstances alone.
Yeah, it seems like Richarlison especially is in like a Paul Pogba position where he kind of lives for those international breaks.
You say you go back, play with your friends, you have the time of your fucking life. You allude to it all the time, Parker. I know that's what you're about to say again, right? Yeah. At some point, it's probably like a conflict of interest. You're like, damn, I'm having so much fun here. I have to go back to my club now. Like shit, even though they pay all these players are getting paid, wages I'll never see in my lifetime. Think fu money, we'll say. They
Exactly.
they probably look at that almost as me going back to work on Monday morning type shit.
No, you're spot on, and that's the thing. It's like when your club is in that situation that Everton's in. And this doesn't only apply to Everton. This applies to so many clubs and players.
Not even shit clubs, just out of form
Yeah,
players in general.
exactly.
Yeah.
Out of favor players at their club, we'll say.
Yeah, they
Sometimes
say,
too.
I don't care what happens to the club. I'm still getting my bag. I know I'm in the national team at the end of the day. I can go wherever I want. If not to an
Lingard.
extent wherever you want. Yeah, Lingard, Pogba. I mean, it's like I'm still a wanted man by so many teams. So I'm not gonna like really try to get into the first team. I'm not gonna give my all. And I can't speak to every individual situation, but I feel like that's like Richarlison. Oh my God, this man is. He hasn't scored in like months. Andros Towson is the top scorer in all comps for Everton. I don't think he's scored since like November or December. I was reading, and he's not even making the teams right now. Iwobi's just getting all games over him. But I think it's just insane.
It's kind of
so
funny.
mismanaged.
I'm sitting here almost getting
Yeah.
philosophical about this, thinking about it. Players go out to their team though, and you think about it, professional athletes are like driven, like obviously to get where they are, they have worked their ass off their entire life to be where they are. At what point though do they get to that point and realize they're not the best player either? Because I know you've experienced in your life, you were the best at something at one point and then you met people in your life that were better than you. And you have that reality of, oh shit, like I can settle where I am or I can strive to be the best. And not every single athlete has the drive of Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, let's be honest, there are players that I'm sure loaf. They are making FU money, as I said, set up for life. And at what point does it become, I can just show up and get this paycheck for 15 years? And
Like in Dombele.
right. Like, they have made
Dombele.
it to the pinnacle of football. Like, some people, that's enough. Like, they've done what they want to do. They're not every player shows up with that, I need to be the best version of myself every day. And I think we take that for granted sometimes. We think every player is striving to be the best version of themselves every day, and that's just not true.
And I want to hear an experience from Forrest here because we went to one of the best sports high schools in the country with multiple professional soccer players, Chris Odiestem, Ja'Cory Hayes, Kyle Beckerman, Bill Hamid. They're not lighting it up in Europe, but they're lighting it up in the MLS. Many professional football players, Brian Westbrook, Cameron Wake, Josh Wilson, to speak among others. Many NBA players, Markel Fultz, Quinn Cook, so many. And I know when I was going to DeMatha, I was always soccer and lacrosse. Played baseball, played hockey, played basketball. Was trash at some of those, but was pretty good at soccer and lacrosse. And I remember coming in thinking, I didn't think I was going to be this superstar because I didn't know how crazy DeMatha was. But like I looked at high schools around. I was the captain of my middle school soccer team. I was the lead goal scorer on my club lacrosse team. And I was thinking, oh yeah, JV varsity is the lock. And then I walked into an atmosphere where they're genuinely they're recruiting from different states. They're recruiting from different countries. What was your experience for us, if anything, like just kind of walking into an environment where like, wow, like maybe I'm not the biggest, like maybe we're the big fish in the small pond, but now we're like, in a lake and we're maybe a smaller fish. But Forrest was better than me, had D1 college offers. He was an amazing keeper, but curious if you had any thoughts on that.
If I can recall, at first when you kind of go into like tryouts or practice or whatever the first couple times, I think it's pretty intimidating at first. Very notably when I played rugby, I think in college, I played a little bit at DeMatha, but at college, like, you just go in there and it kind of feels so awkward. Everyone's like kind of knows each other and everyone's pretty big, and you kind of get used to it over time. You just feel like you're part of the squad after a little while. I guess it's the same way with soccer too, where you kind of feel like you're part of the team. And but yeah, at first you kind of always feel like a bit of an outcast, I would say.
I would like to chime in real quick, Forrest. You're taking it from the positive mind frame, and that's because you are a very driven person. I'll give you that compliment. You use positive reinforcement well, and you better yourself. There's a lot of people that don't have that positive thinking, that when they feel their back, this is me from experience. I felt this when the experience is out of depth, Parker. I think when you look around and you realize, holy shit, like I'm not tough, I'm not top dog. Like the recognition that people are better than you, and I explain. And as humans, there's people like you, Forrest, that take it positively, accept it, and then use that to fuel them. Oh, I have people better than me. I can use this to get better myself. That's the positive mentality to take. Not everybody does that. There's so many selfish individuals, where Charlison seems to be that player for an example, that go out there with their own intentions, and when they recognize they're out of depth, they either don't know how to solve it or they're unwilling to try. And so I think it goes both ways. I've experienced that. You guys clearly went to a much more prestigious high school and experienced it in a grander scale. But yeah, people.
I've got a relatable story that ties into Everton as well. I was once in Liverpool, staying in the Titanic Hotel, which is just down by like the docks and everything.
He's local.
It's yeah, I've been there. I've been to Liverpool, and
Okay.
I was speaking to one of the waiters there, and I was having dinner with my family and everything, and they were talking about how some of the new transfers for Everton and Liverpool all stay at that Titanic just because they have some kind of deal between the clubs. And they were talking about people like Sadio Mane would have come in when he was coming from Southampton and how nice he was. And they said the biggest arsehole they ever had was Yerry Mina, who came to Everton, and he acted like he owned the place just because he was getting a big transfer.
Interesting.
They said he was a
fascinating.
dickhead.
I think
you see that.
I think we've stuck on this. Do you have a closing thought, Parker? We need to move off Everton.
Yes.
We've
Closing
torn into
thought.
enough.
Everton just get me so upset, but
Right. Oh well, happy
even
at the same time.
yeah, no, so happy, but oh, they're hilarious. But yes, no, just speaking of what Brad said, there's also that point of mine where, like, you know, my backup, my junior year, I had been playing at DeMatha, and I could have been on varsity behind two Division I keepers, one who's in the MLS now. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to try out, because why put in all this work and just freeload on the bench and get a game here, a game there? So I was like, fuck it. I'm not going to try out. And my backup ended up trying out and making the team. And, like, people will do that. Not to say Richarlison is a good example of this, because obviously he's a superstar. He is a great player. But people have that mentality. You know what? I'm just going to freeload and, you know, get that check, get that bag. So it happens, and I think Lampard's not the person to stomp that out or sniff that out, just because he doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have he's passionate, but his passion is misplaced. It's very, and I can't speak to him exactly, but I would think it's very kind of for his own ego, very personal. Like when he was managing Chelsea, just getting into it with Klopp on the sideline, cussing him out. It's like, dude, show some respect. You don't see Pep Guardiola cussing out Jurgen Klopp on the sideline. And this is someone who has tenfold your pedigree as the world's best manager. And they, like, yeah, maybe they get in discussions, but they have nothing but compliments for each other.
I'd curse Jurgen Klopp out. Swear to God.
You're just like Lampard then.
I hate him. I hate him.
He's the most likable figure in football. But we'll move on.
He at times I don't mind him, but if he smiles, with them fake teeth while Liverpool's winning, I would want to take them out of his mouth.
But you know, if you wanted to go to Tottenham, you would be like, "This is the fucking best moment of my life." I literally love it.
Right now, over at Conte after the Newcastle game, no. But let's move away from.
You would.
We'll get it. Wait,
that's a damn lie.
We can have that debate later. Let's move
Over
away
Newcastle.
from. Let's move away
Newcastle.
from. Hey. That's another discussion. We'll move away from the doom and gloom at the bottom of the table. Let's talk my least favorite team in the Prem. Their potential title chances this week. I think Wayne's probably on this game. Thoughts?
Huge.
The biggest game of the season.
Oh yes.
This might as well be the Champions League final. Like, literally massive.
Yeah,
I'm
like if
still
Premier League
waiting.
had finals and like playoffs, this would be the finals of the Premier League.
This is a Super Bowl.
I'm still waiting on my thank you letter for that December win that kickstarted this that I haven't received yet.
No, we gave you many thank yous.
Yeah, but nothing in.
You did think you didn't stand a shot at the Prem title.
You didn't. No, and I said that game changed it, and it literally got y'all's mindset around. The whole fan base in general has turned since December, since that victory, and it has not rolled. It has not changed, and I actually do. For the first time in my life, I will back Liverpool this weekend. I think they continue the trend, and I think they somehow squeak a result. I don't think it's a good game from Liverpool, though. I think you all like squeak out a 2-1 ugly.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm obviously backing Liverpool for this win, but it will be close. But I just think, at the moment, I think Liverpool have the better form. Like if we have players show up, if we have Trent back from injury, he'll be a massive help.
I have
We'll
a prediction.
Yeah.
I only make very specific predictions in the past. Kepa coming in for a PK shootout for reference. Y'all might think I'm a mad scientist on here. You ready for this one? I think
Okay.
Pep Guardiola, for the first time in his career, plays to the opposite manager's tactics a bit more than you think. I think you see City actually change a bit of their play style to try to beat Liverpool, and I think it backfires.
Well, this is a thing. We know he overthinks tactics, and they don't have a pure striker. So I think the obvious choice would be like, let's say they have, I don't even know, an Aguero or anyone who they could have had on their bench, and play him at number 9 or number 10, and we're like, oh, that's different. But no, I agree, and I don't want to like curse us or jinx us. I think, like Harry said, we're on the better form. I think it was funny hearing both managers talk midweek. Pep saying, because at one point they were 14 points clear, but we had 2 games in hand. He's like, oh, it was never 14 points. It was never 14 points. They had 2 games in hand. Those aren't guaranteed points, and even then we get the 6 points from that, and you're 8 points clear. So we've chased them down. Obviously, we don't know what's happening for the rest of the year, but this is our Super Bowl. This is our Champions League, and we're still in the we're still in every competition. We could.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak the quadruple into existence, but like, damn, I cannot wait for that for Sunday.
No, and the thing is with Man City Liverpool games as well is you always get a good game just because the two managers are just so good and the players and the quality of the football is just insane.
And it's always title implications every single time.
Yeah.
You're muted, Bryce.
Thank you. Actually, I know we always stay into the Prem until the very end, but I would like to speak on that quadruple claim for one quick second. I know it's just a quick shout. If you
Yes.
really think big body Benzema isn't gonna roll your team over in the same fashion, you're
Sir,
sadly mistaken.
We'll get to that, but just to say, we don't have Karius in that anymore, so Benzema's a non-threat. He
Yeah.
capitalized on Mendy's error. A lovely header, I'll give him that.
In
but
the rain,
in
in the London rain.
I want to hear Van Dijk is gonna body his little French body to the ground. But Harry, I want to hear your best 11 for Liverpool coming into this fixture, because I know it's being highly debated right now.
Yeah, I feel like me and you have pretty similar ideas to how this team should be run. We could take up the vice coach.
Adrian in goal.
Adrian in goal.
No, Keller.
Yeah.
Kelleher, sorry.
Yeah. Kelleher starting.
No, Karius. We'll throw him a curveball.
I don't even know if he's included for Premier League squad. I think he literally just collects a paycheck on there.
He's
in
just
the
He's
a
just
weightlifter.
fucking lifting.
Yeah, but
Is he still?
Getting
Oh, he's still in
slower
the
and
squad, huh?
shittier.
Me and him on the same
Jesus
vibe.
Christ.
Sadly, he
Backline.
is.
Backline, I think it's got to be Robertson, Van Dijk, Matip, and Trent.
Agreed.
Even though Konate played really good at the weekend, but he had that one slip up for the goal, and it was just. He will be really good, but he just needs a bit more game time and to grow up a little bit because he's just so young, and that'll come with time.
What about your midfield 3 and your front 3?
Midfield? You can't have it without Thiago and Fabinho in that Liverpool midfield, and then it's just down to Henderson or Naby. But I'd say Henderson for this game because Klopp prefers him for the bigger game. Does like having Henderson in that midfield. And then top 3, it's got to be Mane, Salah, Diaz up top, and then Jota on at 60th minute, like what he always does.
It's crazy how Diaz has just walked into that team, and he has to start every game. I love him.
Yeah, I would not have him.
Incredible.
Where's he
Yeah.
from?
Porto.
Colombia from Porto.
The garbage bin. Tottenham's
scored.
trash bin.
He scored against Man City last
Are you
year.
kidding me?
Tottenham's trash bin. He got put in the recycling bin.
No, he was like, please help me. Tottenham's made a bid. And Liverpool, he was our summer target. And this is what, Fabrizio Romano has said. many credible sources is basically he was our summer target. Tottenham moved in January, so they forced our hand. So
Yeah,
we
it's a big-
saved him from that relegation scrap.
Many
Yeah,
credible sources, i.e., me, says we started the title challenge in December and we fucking ended in April when we beat your ass.
How does it feel that you can't attract big name players to your club, Bryce?
How does it feel when no big name players, i.e., Harry Kane and Son, drop 4 in April on y'all? And you guys are left with your tails behind your legs, quadruple ruin because Benzema just scored 4 goals on you and Harry Kane just had 2 assists and 2 goals. All I hear is how lazy Harry Kane is, and he's about to shit on your club.
To be fair, we can't play Real Madrid until the final, right? If we do play them.
Exactly. Harry's right.
That's
people are
the
saying it's
biggest
gonna be
blessing of
Liverpool
your
Real
life.
final.
That's the biggest blessing is that Benzema doesn't get 2 legs to have his way with y'all.
I don't know. This could still come down to this whole season could be about Liverpool Man City. It can come down to a Liverpool Man City Champions League final still.
I mean, if you guys lose tomorrow, how much of the quadruple falls? Just mentality wise, do you think? I think at least 3 of the 4 are gone.
I think Klopp said midweek he was like, if you think the result of this game decides the Premier League, you're naive or something like that. He was just
Yeah.
That's him trying to get his players' mentality up because he knows if it's lost, it might be a make or break for y'all. Because
like, that Liverpool squad is mentality monsters. They got the
No, I know.
They are.
I'm
They're
not trying to be negative, but let's keep it completely real. You guys have worked your way back, right? This is the ultimatum. This is Claude, right? No, you guys worked hard. You played very good. You guys have showed up every week and got your 3 points most of the time. And I'll keep it real. Like you've earned your way back into it. But like at some point you've been just behind them. This is the time you have to overtake them. And I think mentally, like if you guys lose this, especially in a bad fashion, like if you get outplayed pretty bad, it could have a real there's inside the squad, Salah and Mane can act like they're friends, bruh. They're not friends right now.
You know, I see that. I think Salah resigns like this week or very soon. I think that'll be a big boost.
Same thing. I saw those 400k a week rumors going
He was
around.
teasing us today on Instagram.
That's a hell of a
Cryptic post.
So I actually want your guys' opinion. Just do you think there's internal conflict in the squad? Like not actual conflict, like where there's beef, because let's be real, those are the most passive players in the world. But like, do you think there's actual hard feelings between them? I don't think there's a way there's not.
In my opinion, I think it's straight respect.
Yeah,
Because you see them mid-game like chatting each other up, and
I think they're all like boys.
it's not like an England thing where it was like Liverpool versus Man United.
Yeah.
So
the
I have
golden
one thing to add before you add your point. It's not if it was completely fair competition, sure. But we know the manner in which that Senegal Egypt game ended. Like how does it is it hard not to feel hard done by? Like I know in the opposite fixture it was happening the same way with lasers in their eyes, but like how do you not legitimately take that? Like that game should have been replayed. Like that is an embarrassment on FIFA's end, straight up. Like
No, that was like security should have been kicking out every motherfucker with the laser. It was literally like a club when the goalkeeper or an Egypt penalty taker was up. But what I think the crazy Mo is not blaming Sadio.
No.
I mean these are 2 very devout Muslims who are very respectful in their communities. There's never been a bad PR thing about either of them. If only you see great things about both of them. So I think it's
one
respect.
more question.
The last thing I remember seeing of like one of them getting angry was whenever Sadio Mane gets taken off the pitch early, he's like visibly angry. But I think they leave all of that on the pitch. I don't think that any of it carries over to the dressing room.
So that's actually leading in exactly to my last question. Like I know that those 2 are like very, great competitors. Like they're always pushing themselves to the absolute like maximum on each game week. You obviously see sometimes Salah is selfish. Like that's your one complaint with him sometimes.
He's always been like that.
He could get 60 assists a season. Like that's actually not an exaggeration. If he would give tap-offs, he could legitimately get 40 to 60 assists a season with how much he creates. You see Mane at times absolutely throw his hands in the air, start screaming at the man. Yes.
Agreed.
It does. Sadio is also, but it is much more egregious on Salah's side because he creates more.
Yeah, he does.
Just
they
in
go down
general.
the right more with Trent and Salah on that right side.
So over the years, I've definitely noticed Sadio Mane has almost had his breaking point with it. I don't know if you guys actually noticed this or not. You guys think like, dude, he's close to like absolutely like putting his hands on this man sometimes. Like,
Well,
and I think you add all these like pressures in, like just that little thing I was talking about, the little like feeling hard done by. You're right, Parker. They are amazing humans. They wouldn't blame it on one another, but it's hard not to feel some sort of spite or anger. You can meditate your whole life and waste your problems away. I would still be angry and feel hard done that I'm not going to a World Cup in my prime because of stuff like that.
I'd also wager, and I think Parker can back me up on this, is that if we re-sign Salah like this season, I can see Mane going in the summer now that we've got Diaz
100%.
in.
I think it's
Salah
going
was
either
to go,
way.
they would keep Mane, but
Yeah.
I think one of them
I could
be
see
going this year.
And I actually have a question for you. Who would you rather keep? I have a different
Oh.
answer than what I think you all.
See, this is if you asked me 2 or 3 years ago, and I think Salah was, even though lighting up everything, I think he was also
Who's older?
unappreciated for what he was doing. Just because, like you said, like he could put up messy numbers if he actually wanted to make the right play every single time, like a LeBron James. But you watch him play, and it's very obvious that he wants the golden boot. Like he will shoot the ball. Oh my God. When someone's wide open so often. But if you asked me 3 years ago, I would say Sadio does the same thing. And I think Sadio has changed a little bit in that regard, where he's the more generous player than Salah. But if you
Parker
ask
and I
me,
used to get, mad about
yeah,
that.
Harry and I used to be like, this man never passed it to Salah. Like I would have thought the beef was way more a few years ago. But I would say Salah stays, Mane
Parker-
gets sold, and I think Mane will go.
That's the reason I think Sadio's at his breaking point. It's not like I can see this man's facial expressions. It's that this man has adapted his play style to involve others. You're right. He was just as selfish, go for goal. And he literally took the time to fucking allow others around him to succeed. Consciously, he has changed his play style in some ways. And at times, it's literally just like, bro, I passed to fucking you when you're open. Why the fuck can't you return the favor once? It's almost like and after years, bro, Sadio Mane would actually be the leading Prem scorer tenfold if Mohamed Salah passed. For the last 4 years, I swear to God, that's not bullshit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but I think I would take Salah over Mane just because he creates so many more chances.
And
Especially in the past
that's
couple
fair.
years, I feel like Mane has kind of lost his dribbling ability that he used to have a little bit.
That's completely valid. I literally said the game goes down the right more often. Salah is more egregious in these errors because he has the opportunities. Enough about it. I actually hope to see Liverpool win because I don't want to see another City reign. Let's get off this topic and move on to, I think, the last important topic in the Prem to discuss. We always talk about it, the top 4 race. Arsenal and Tottenham, 2 very differing results.
Yes.
Arsenal got walked out of the park. I don't want to say Arsenal played bad. I don't want to say they absolutely got beat. They wasted a ton of chances, went down early, and never could claw their way back into the game. And it was just a lost game from the start. Arsenal had themselves to blame. Arteta said it himself. They take responsibility. Do you think they have the mental to come back and hold it? They have 1 game in hand on us, same amount of points, and we're smashing them on goal difference after the result.
You guys are still yet to play as well. You guys
Right,
play
we have the
in May.
rescheduled North London derby, so that's a 6
But you
pointer.
also play us early May as well.
Yeah, and that's a free W.
All right.
Tottenham.
What world? You have your number.
Bryce's World.
Dejan Lovren.
What I
playing,
think, we see this with Arteta and Arsenal, where they get their hot streak and then they get their cold streak, and I think they're
So is
entering it.
this the cold streak? Is it?
I do think it's coming up. I do, and I.
So does Tottenham finish 4th? Because that's a double-ended sword. Because that implies that Arsenal fails and Tottenham continues to succeed.
Well, this is also what I see. I think Tottenham's hitting their form where they have their lineup now. They're playing the same lineup consistently.
Would you be
That means
willing?
everything.
Would you be willing to say it's not as much as finding our form as it is just finding like an actual personality under Conte? Like you said, same players have played now. It seems like you've seen it, dude. We've played Newcastle in recent years. We played Burnley. We played some lower tier sides that they show up and it looks like we're not a top 4 club. And I was honestly this weekend expecting that to happen again. And Matt Doherty looked like Roberto Carlos on the left wing. Like
Yeah. He's way better than Emerson. I don't even know why.
Emerson Royale
Already
played
doesn't
right
get more
back
minutes.
and looked like a prime Zambrata if we want to get into it. The
He
wingbacks,
scored, yeah.
dude, the wingbacks actually looked in the Conte's system is developed around the wingbacks being like almost midfielders, holding in that
Yeah.
compactness, but also being able to drop back and absorb. Right. And dude, I was so excited when we got Emerson Royale. I thought Regulon and Emerson Royale on the wings. These are some fast, like they can create, they can defend somewhat, but like in La Liga when they were doing it, like they were doing some cool things. Like I was like, how can this not succeed? And then we saw Harry Kane drops back 80 yards. I don't even know what's happening to Tottenham some games. and Harry Kane is continuing to drop, but the other players, including the wingbacks, are starting to understand that and work into pockets to allow to play off him. And Harry Kane he gave a performance that rivaled Benzema's this week. And I don't, that's not even, it was Newcastle. It wasn't the same scale, but he legitimately looked like a top 3 player in the world this past weekend alone.
He should be.
He didn't even score. And that's the thing, though. I say that about a striker. It's kind of frustrating. But if the team's going to win 5-1 and play the whole system in, I can't be excited as a fan.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a very like a get in behind kind of attacker. He's a holding
Finesse.
he's like a holding striker.
It's like a Bergkamp almost.
But yeah, I would say especially the second half of the season, his like playmaking ability in the final third has been just insane. That's what's really made him really good this season.
So I've been theory crafting as a fan, obviously. Like you always want like these signings, whatever. I don't want to put a name on it, but do you guys think that bringing in another, not a Son type player, but just another right winger that can? Do you think Dejan does that Kulusevski, if we sign him, he does the job well enough to be a person that we can allow Harry to keep dropping back and feed to score?
First off, I think you're lucky to keep Son, because he is. For me, he's my
we
favorite
signed him
Tottenham
for
player
5 more years.
I don't know how you kept that man his whole career. He could have
He's
gone
awesome.
so many places. Yeah, I love
Well,
Son.
I want to probably allude to the fact that he's the most liked player ever, probably in Tottenham. He is like, he has
Love him. I love
international
him.
support. Yeah, he's
More than Harry Kane.
yeah. Oh my, dude! After the saga of the summer,
Harry Kane's
Son-
ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Son is 100% without a doubt. He can have a fucking 3 out of 10 performance and we'll be like, it's okay, baby. Whereas Kane comes out and has a 7 out of 10, probably had an 8 out of 10 at Newcastle, didn't score a goal, played out of his mind. And I looked at the stat sheet first thing and said, damn, we won 5-1 against Newcastle and Kane can't even get on the fucking score sheet. It's just it's the mantra he has in the club right now. He wanted out. How can you not pick a new favorite player after the players literally said he doesn't want to play there anymore?
I still think it's a bad decision for you guys not to let him go in the summer, but I mean, there's not much you can do about that.
Hey, if we get top
where
4
does he wanna
this
go?
season, can't complain. He wanted to go to
Against
City.
Oh.
He wanted to go to City.
Like, you can force another move, but you're not going to get as much money as you could have.
So Forrest, he has to stay in the Prem because he has to set the Premier League records at this point. It's
That's the
the
easiest
truth
thing to
of
do
the
it
matter.
on.
Yeah, right.
Big.
So,
I think
The
he goes
best
for, like,
English
Man
players stay in the
United.
Prem.
so I didn't get your take, Harry or Forrest. Just a quick little 30-second. Tottenham, Arsenal. We'll throw Man U in still. Who finishes 4th?
I think Tottenham finishes 4th.
I'm going.
Realistically-
I'm gonna go with West Ham.
West
Oh.
Ham.
West Ham, that's a tough.
Big.
decision.
So I have one reason why West Ham can't do it.
They've got less games in hand.
No, but that they're already down bad.
They're on 31.
They're down bad in the points. Like they stand a chance, but they still have a fucking insanely massive Europa League to move on farther than they ever have in Europe. And it's 1-1. They just got it. I don't know if you guys watched that game. That was actual match fixing. Actual match fixing. Watch that game if you haven't watched it. I swear to God, watch it.
I think
West
they could
Ham-
win
Oh,
Europa
wow,
League,
so-
but I've heard that. I
No,
didn't watch it, but I heard.
No, I swear to
Sketchy
God,
as
after
hell.
we get off this, watch the highlights. You don't have to watch the whole game. The highlights will show you. They actually got like blatantly cheated in London to the point where David Moyes was just like at the end of the game, he was like, what the fuck just happened? Like
Who'd they play again? I think I saw that on Twitter.
Played
it was
Leon.
Leon. You want to know
Oh,
who scored
yeah.
too? You get to see
Payet
Ndombele's.
goal?
You get to see Ndombele's fat lazy ass score.
Angie. I was wondering where he'd gone.
Leon on loan.
Baller.
All right.
Tottenham would be lucky to have a player like that.
Forrest, West Ham is your prediction. I don't think they can do it. We've talked
Oh,
enough about the
we'll
Prem
see.
today.
Who's your
go
prediction
ahead.
for top 4?
He already said Tottenham's getting it.
I'm gonna say Arsenal just to make Graham happy.
All right.
But I
You
think
literally,
Tottenham is my
he
my
literally
heart
just
says
said.
Tottenham, but my head says Arsenal.
I was
Tottenham
trying to
will
say
choke
verbatim.
again.
You said Arsenal cold streak, Tottenham hot streak. I was like, how could you? No worries. Yeah, we'll give Arsenal. We'll give one Arsenal just because Graham can't defend himself. But I actually think he might have the same take as me. He literally said in a text message for any viewers out there, Graham can't show himself. Arsenal's hitting the Arsenal stage of their season again on Sunday
Yeah.
or Monday.
Well,
And they
does a
fluked
similar
so many
thing.
W's recently.
But
Sorry,
yes,
Eric.
we have covered the Prem for 41 minutes. Harry, give our closing thoughts on the Prem, please.
The closing thoughts on the Prem are the biggest match of the season is this
Right.
weekend, and everybody should watch it.
Tottenham, whoever they're
Super
playing,
Bowl.
watch it.
It's the finals game 7 of the Premier League season. This one.
Actually, whoever Burnley is playing and whoever Everton is playing is my recommended game too.
Yeah, baby.
So we alluded to it once. We need to discuss it. We had another magisterial Champions League performance from Big Body Benzema. Reset his own record last time out of the oldest player to score a hat trick in Champions League knockout stages, Champions League in general, and he did it in
Only-
back-to-back weeks.
Only 4 players to score back-to-back Champions League hat tricks.
And only one of 3 players to ever do it against the ex-champions.
Good stat. Good stat.
The only reason I know that is because there's one Tottenham player that's done it, and I know y'all can remember the performance. Name it, someone impress me.
Lucas.
Lucas Moura.
Nope. The Ajax, the ex-champion, like ex-last year champions. It happened in our lifetime.
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Berbatov.
Tottenham history.
The best performance of all time. Bale
on Inter Milan,
Bale
yeah.
Inter 2011. Yep, there you go.
Back when he was
Actually,
playing like left
He
back.
said the greatest Champions League performance.
from left back, a hat trick against the ex-champions
Okay,
is
sorry,
left
back.
I didn't hear from left back. I thought you just said the greatest.
This man,
Champions League
this man
performance.
ran down the wing 3
Every
times,
time.
cooked like 4 players, and hit it far post 3 times, bro. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was like the same goal every time. But hey, to
Unreal.
speak to this, I got to speak to this because I don't know. Like, who knows what's gonna happen to Chelsea? Like, I feel like this could be their like. And Colby's gonna hate to hear this, but this might be like their final
out,
show.
Colby.
This might be the last dance, where they're looking to set up whatever the future holds. But I would say this: Mendy, don't even compare him to Alisson. Don't even compare him to Ederson. This man is Mignolet level. Not actually, but he's like a great goalkeeper, but he's not top
Kelleher
5 in the
level.
world. Yeah, and then Jorginho, don't get me started on this guy. The fact that he finished 3rd in Ballon d'Or voting, this bum center mid, he is a slow bum.
Hey,
He can't transition. He can't press. He
had a
can
he had
make
a
a
great
pass.
assist this week.
Oh, he had a
congrats.
great assist.
He
He
had
did.
a
He
good
did.
assist.
He did. He doesn't assist often. That was a troll stat.
If he
I'm
does one
telling you,
assist off,
Gallagher
does he get
is-
the Ballon d'Or?
Oh, Gallagher's miles ahead.
He could walk into that Chelsea team and then he'd be 3rd in Ballon d'Or voting because Jorginho is a good pivot, but this man is so slow. He doesn't press. He takes these ugly penalties that somehow go in. Like, he blows me. He is
Trey.
like
Trey, get
So
in Discord in
trash.
Europe and defend your club, bro. This is harsh.
he pisses me off just watching him. And Lukaku, don't get me started with this guy. Don't get me started with this dump truck at striker missing tap-ins.
He's a
Like,
bum.
he is gonna get sold for like 30 mil this summer to back to Italy, where he can just be a big physical body and body these little Italians who won't
Didn't
make the
even
World
s-
Cup.
He didn't even
I
start. did
hate
he?
that
Like,
club.
a player that you pay that much for, or a player is that like well known. He doesn't even start, and they play Kai Havertz instead.
Havertz is a dog. He's
Yeah,
so
but still,
good.
he can't be like the big
Chelsea-
summer signing.
Yeah.
and
Chelsea
all
is a
that.
Chelsea is a
striker.
club
I'm
in
a striker.
shambles. Chelsea is
And
a
like
club in
Werner,
shambles.
what's up with Werner? That man just cools on the bench.
I feel like Chelsea's failing up.
Hey,
That's
we
pretty much
talk,
what
we
they're doing
talk,
right
we
now.
talk. Right, we talk about how Chelsea always has reserve players on deck, and they do spend a good bit of money. And I think we're finally seeing it for the first time fail them, like blatantly
I love it.
fail them. Like you're right, Parker. Havertz is a dog. Havertz isn't an out and out number 9. They are fucking covering and changing their formation and tactics to play around a system when they have $160 million in strikers that if you gave me on FIFA Ultimate Team today, I would still go out and get some goals with, bro. Like Lukaku won Serie A last year. Werner was on arguably the second best team in Germany last year. Like,
Yeah.
And they've got
We
80,
wanted
an
him
80
bad.
million,
We wanted
got
him.
an 80 million pound keeper sitting on the bench doing nothing.
Yeah,
So-
most expensive keeper of all time.
so
Yeah.
we'll just get some running predictions since we can't really
And
speak
Rudiger's
on it
leaving
too
on the
much.
free. Just have to say
So-
this: Rudiger is
so-
going to Barcelona on the free.
Chelsea down, Real Madrid beating them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Liverpool through after that 3-1.
Easy.
Yeah,
right?
I think
Okay.
Liverpool's-
Villarreal.
I still think Bayern's going to beat them though.
I do too.
Agreed.
Or Villarreal played the sweatiest Atletico type game and just shithouse their way to a 0-0 win and win.
And then
1-0.
I'm ignorant. Who's the fourth fixture?
City,
Uh,
Atletico. City's up 1-0.
Anti-football. That's why.
Yeah, I'd say City go through, but only because I hate Atletico so
Yeah,
much.
it's just so hard to watch.
I hate them
both
so
of them.
much. I hate the way Atletico play football though. They play the worst kind of football.
I could see them like 1-0ing it, and then it goes to the penalties or something.
Yeah, I
Extra
could see
time.
that. They get that 1-0 and they ride it to penalties to the end.
Yeah. You gotta respect Simeone though. He's great.
I do, but
Even
I
though
hate
he's-
football.
He's like the Burnley for like a great team.
Yeah,
All right.
I think it'll
All
be Liverpool versus Bayern in the semis and Man City versus Real Madrid in the semis.
That's fair. I see all of those 4 happening as well. Do we have
Then
any?
Liverpool Madrid final.
We have a full week of fixtures still, right? Right.
Yes.
We're talking. Okay, so obviously our one to watch is the only one that matters. Tune into probably the Premier League title race this weekend.
Liverpool.
We'd like to see Liverpool go Reds for once. You'll never hear that from me. And also, I recommend tuning into the Arsenal Tottenham games because that will decide 4th. Excited to see those, and
Also
obviously
tune into Everton because it's like
Burnley. Everton, Burnley. we would
And
love to
Burnley
see
at
Burnley
Norwich
up.
City. They could
Yes.
they could leapfrog Everton this weekend. Everton and Man United.
Yes.
So shit.
Please.
So yes, thank you again to all our viewers for tuning in to episode 9 of the Early Booking Podcast. Thank you again for listening. Have a great rest of your week.
Set the tone.
Set the
Yeah.
tone.